It's getting spicy in the rap game right now. Just when we thought the Drake versus Kendrick saga had cooled off, Ice Cube just threw gasoline on the fire and fans are losing it. We're talking West Coast royalty stepping into the battlefield and officially picking a side. Yeah, you heard that right. Ice Cube, the OG legend. The man who built NWA from the ground up and helped put gangsta rap on the map, just crowned. Kendrick Lamar, the true king of the culture over Drake. And not in a subtle way either. We talkin' mic drop level disrespect. Allegedly, Cube called Drake's run manufactured and said Kendrick's pen shaped a generation. Now, as you can imagine, Drake's camp ain't talking this lightly. Word on the street is OVA insiders are calling this a betrayal, saying Ice Cube is just jealous of Drake's global reign. Meanwhile, Kendrick's crew, they celebrating like it's the 4th of July in Compton. But y'all, that ain't even the half of it. This story gets deep. We talkin' sneaky dims, unreleased diss tracks, secret industry alliances, and Amaja betrayal from someone real close to Drake. Stay locked in, because the culture war, it just got real, so boom. It all started at a private listening party in Law, something super exclusive. Industry insiders, producers, execs, even a few old school legends pulled up. Now usually, these events are low-key. No phones, no drama. But this one hit different. Ice Cube showed up rocking his signature scowl, and people could tell he wasn't just there to vibe. He had a purpose, a statement. And by the time the night ended, he had the whole industry shook. It was during a brief speech between sets. The room dimmed down, champagne glasses clinking. Everyone expecting a little toast or something simple. But nah. Cube grabbed the mic and said it loud, clear, and straight from the chest. He said, real culture don't come from streams, it come from struggle. Kendrick is the voice of the streets. He, the king, right now. Ain't no debate, bruh. Jaws dropped. People turned their heads so fast you would have thought somebody got slapped. And it wasn't even just what Cube said, it was how he said it. No hesitation, no sugarcoating, no filter. He looked directly at a few folks in the room known to be close with Drake. Silence fell so heavy, you could hear egos cracking. What makes this moment even crazier. There were whispers earlier that week that Cube was going to collaborate with Drake on a throwback style record. Some 90s-inspired joints, West Coast meets Toronto flavor. So when Cube stepped out and gave Kendrick the crown in front of everybody, it felt like a public curve. Like he pulled the rug out from under Drake's entire brand. People started texting, tweeting, and talking behind their hands. Some folks even walked out. A producer who was there told us exclusively Cube meant that. He's been watching the game shift, and he thinks Kendrick is keeping it real while Drake's just making chart records. He said the difference is Kendrick uplifts the hood, and Drake just entertains the suburbs. Now, of course, this didn't stay private for long. Within hours, the story leaked first through a tweet from someone who overheard the speech. Then a blurry clip surfaced from someone who clearly broke the no phones rule. The internet ran with it. Headlines hit, Ice Cube names Kendrick king over Drake. Cube ends debate, backs Kadat. Fans were hype. Kendrick's stans took a victory lap, while Drake's loyal army went full damage control. But here's where it gets messy. Somebody from Drake's inner circle, we won't name names just yet, but they got verified checks and a long history with the OVO label, started making calls that night, talking about Cube being bitter, outdated, trying to stay relevant by latching on to current beefs. One even said Cube had reached out to OVO recently, asking for a feature and got turned down. They claimed the whole Kendrick is King speech was a clapback for being ignored, but we did some digging. And guess what? Cube never reached out for no feature. In fact, sources close to Cube said he turned down an offer to appear on a deluxe version of Drake's last album. The reason? Cube reportedly said the vibe was too synthetic and he wasn't about to co-sign auto-tuned therapy bars. Double quotes wild as the story picked up steam. Kendrick Lamar himself posted a cryptic story. Just one image, a vintage photo of Ice Cube with a caption, raised by giants. That was it. No tags, no extra words. But that image spoke volumes. It felt like a cosign of the cosign. Like Kendrick was saying, I see you, Og, respect. The timing wasn't a coincidence. And fans knew it. The whole internet caught fire. Reaction videos flooded YouTube. Twitter Spaces went crazy. Fans debated in circles. Some argued that Cube was just stating facts. Others claimed he was playing into the Kendrick versus Drake rivalry for attention. One viral tweet said, Ice Cube just did more damage to Drake than Kendrick's whole diss catalog. And listen, it didn't take long for this to reach Drake himself. Within 48 hours, Drake posted a slick Instagram story of his own. A photo of him lounging in a mansion with the caption, Kings don't cry over crowns. We build M. Now some took it as a boss move, unbothered. Others felt the shade heavy. The underlying message was clear. He heard Cube. And he wasn't impressed, but behind the scenes, Drake was reportedly livid. One insider close to his team said Drake felt blindsided, especially since Cube had always shown him love in public interviews. He allegedly told his camp, this man waited until the internet turned on me to say all this. If that's real, he could have called me. The betrayal hit deeper because Cube wasn't just some random critic. He was a pioneer, a gatekeeper, someone whose opinion carried weight across generations. And for him to back Kendrick now, in the middle of this long-standing Cold War between the two rappers, felt like a calculated move. Like he picked his side right when the smoke was thickest. Now, here's where things take another twist. Remember that mysterious OVO insider making those phone calls? Well, they accidentally sent a message to the wrong person. Instead of messaging a label exec, they sent a heated voice note to a blogger. And that blogger sent it straight to us, in the note. The insider ranted, Cube ain't been relevant in music since I was in middle school. Now he wanna act like a rap elder. He just trying to ride Kendrick's wave while it's hot. We still run charts, we still run numbers, and when the history books get written, guess whose name they're gonna write in bold? The tone was bitter. The energy. Pressed. And guess who that blogger was? Someone with a long history of siding with Kendrick in online debates. So of course, they leaked the audio online. And boom, the internet exploded again. People were calling out OVO for being salty, accusing them of trying to gaslight the culture and discredit Cube instead of responding with grace. Then, out of nowhere, Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson Jr., jumped in. He hopped on Twitter and said, my pops don't need nobody's feature. He built his legacy before some of y'all even learned how to spell hip-hop. Stand on talent, not charts. Double quotes Mike. Drop. That tweet alone got over 1 million impressions in under 24 hours. Celebrities started chiming in. Snoop Dogg reposted the quote with a laughing emoji. E240 commented facts. Even Killer Mike jumped into the convo saying, Cube been king. Now he just passing the torch to who earned it. But while Kendrick's camp celebrated the wave, and Cube stood firm in his statement, Drake's team started to mobilize. Word on the street is they're planning something. Not just a response, but a reveal. Something major that could flip the narrative. Allegedly, there's a documentary in the works featuring behind-the-scenes stories, studio footage, and exclusive interviews from industry vets that show the full scope of Drake's impact. Their words. Not ours now. Why is that important? Because the timing of that project was originally set for next year. But sources say they're pushing it up, rushing edits, trying to get it out ASAP. All in response to this cultural storm stirred up by Ice Cube's comments. They want to control the narrative again, show the receipts, and maybe, just maybe, remind the world why Drake sits at the top of the charts. And that's where we're gonna leave Becca's. Just when you think it's all about respect and opinions, it turns into a battle of legacy. And trust me, we're gonna reveal the moment Drake allegedly confronted someone close to Kendrick and how that private convo turned into a heated fallout that might have destroyed a long-time industry friendship. So remember how we told y'all Drake was heated behind the scenes? Well, turns out he wasn't just venting to his team. Sources say just 2 days after Ice Cube's public praise of Kendrick, Drake reached out to someone close to K-Dot's circle, a mutual industry friend, someone both camps have trusted for years to clear the air. Now, at first, people thought it was going to be some grown man convo, maybe even a chance for a truce. But what happened? It was the exact opposite. We're talking a private face-to-face meeting in New York City. Drake flew in quietly. No security entourage, no flashy fits, just low-key energy like he was trying to keep things respectful. The person he met with, none other than Top Dog's former A&R. We'll call him Marcus for now. Someone who's worked with both Kendrick and Drake over the past decade and was known to be the peacemaker in rap beefs. But this time, the peacemaker had smoke. According to people who were in the building when it all went down, Drake pulled Marcus aside and straight up asked, "So that's what it is now? Y'all got Cube out here calling Kendrick the king like I ain't been feeding the game for 15 years. His tone wasn't angry at first, just confused. Disappointed even. But Marcus, he wasn't in the mood for pity. He allegedly fired back, "Look, bro, nobody said you ain't done numbers. Nobody said you ain't got hits. But the culture is shifting, and you can't stop it with a hit single." From there, things escalated quick. Voices were raised. Someone said Drake called Kendrick a puppet. For old heads, and Marcus clapped, back saying Drake's whole brand was too pretty too. Survive a real war. Then Drake said something that really crossed the line. He allegedly said, "Kendrick only gets his love because he say what Cube wish he could still say that right there." That hit a nerve. Marcus stood up and said, "Nah, see, that's the problem. You think everything's about you, but sometimes the streets gotta remind the throne where the fire came from, and it didn't come from a yacht in Miami." After that, the meeting ended cold. No handshake, no dap, nothing. And guess what? Not even 24 hours later, an anonymous source from the Top Dog camp leaked that convo to a hip-hop blog. Word-for-word quotes started circulating, and fans couldn't believe the level of disrespect. Headlines like "Drake calls Kendrick a puppet for old heads" were everywhere. It was no longer just Cube versus Drake. This was turning into a cultural divide, like old school values versus new school branding. And guess who else got caught in the crossfire? J-Rock.C. J-Rock's always been one of those low-key writers for Kendrick, but he's also got respect for everyone in the game. In fact, he's worked with Drake before and even showed love for Drake's artistry in interviews. But the day that quote leaked, he posted a simple message on Twitter: "When the crown heavy, only the real don't fold. Salute to the ones who speak truth." Fans immediately took that as a subtle jab. Some OVO fans flooded his comments, calling him fake, saying he was choosing sides. Others praised him for standing with Kendrick and Cube. But then, it got even crazier. Someone from OVO posted a screenshot in their story, a throwback DM from J-Rock congratulating Drake on a past award win. They captioned it, "Funny how love switches up when the mic's off." And just like that, the internet exploded again. Now people were digging up old tweets, interviews, anything they could find to try and paint a picture of who was really loyal in this game. Fans started choosing sides like it was the NBA playoffs. Kendrick fans saying Drake's whole legacy was built on crossover hits, not cultural impact. Drake fans saying Kendrick's overrated and only shines when there's a beef. But behind all the noise, Cube stayed silent until one night, 5 days after the incident, Cube did a surprise appearance on a podcast out of Oakland. It wasn't even a big platform, just a local crew, real grassroots vibes. But Cube came with smoke. He didn't mention Drake by name, but listen to what he said. "Some folks get upset when the culture speak, but you can't buy your way into respect. That come from how you move, not how you chart. Double quotes, boom. The clip went viral instantly. Fans said Cube was doubling down, standing 10 toes down on his words, and, more importantly, showing that he wasn't scared of no backlash. But then, the biggest twist yet happened. Because just when everyone thought this was just industry drama, Someone from Drake's own bloodline broke rank. Drake's single quotes as cousin, we'll call him Jamal, who's been low-key for years, randomly went live on Instagram, drunk, emotional, and spilling all kinds of tea. He said, "Man, I told Aubrey from day one, you can't play both sides. You either with the culture or you're with the corporations. And now it's catching up." That live got clipped and reposted everywhere. Jamal said Drake had gotten to Hollywood, forgotten his roots, and didn't like being challenged. He even hinted that Drake's been insecure about Kendrick ever since that Control verse dropped all them years ago. Fans were in shock, like Drake's own family calling him out. People didn't know what to believe, but Kendrick, still no direct response. Just another cryptic story, this time a photo of a chessboard, with the caption, "We ain't gotta talk when we 3 moves ahead." And the message was clear. While Drake's side was scrambling, talking, leaking, and reacting, Kendrick was staying calm, silent, calculated. The streets noticed. One fan posted, "Drake arguing in circles. Kendrick playing chess. Cube watching like Mufasa. This ain't just a rap beef. This is cultural warfare." So by now, everybody thinking this whole mess between Ice Cube, Kendrick, and Drake just popped off randomly, right? Like Cube just said what he said on impulse. Nah, see? We did some digging. And what we found? It's looking like this move was strategic, premeditated, and straight up surgical. You ready? Let's get into it. 2 weeks before Cube's infamous Kendrick is King speech at that private law listening party, he was spotted at a dinner in Malibu with none other than Kendrick Lamar and Dr. Dre. Now look, no one thought too much of it at first. West Coast legends linking up. That's regular. But what made this meetup different is who wasn't there. Usually, these kinds of power dinners include label reps, publicists, brand execs. But this one, just 3 goats, 1 private room, no outside eyes, someone who worked at the restaurant and risked everything to leak this, told us that the conversation was intense. Not laughs, not casual. They said it looked like chess moves being made in real time. And here's the kicker. The staff member overheard Cube say, "It's time we stop letting the numbers decide who defines our voice." Sound familiar? That line became the exact same message Cube repeated in different forms over the next 2 weeks, leading up to his crowning of Kendrick. So now fans started wondering, was this all part of a calculated plan? Was Cube, Kendrick, and Dre plotting to reclaim the cultural narrative? Take the crown off the charts and put it back in the hands of lyricists? Well, we got more data source close to Aftermath Records confirmed that Dre's been quietly working on a culture preservation docuseries, featuring untold stories from West Coast legends and their views on how hip-hop has evolved, and not always in a good way. Guess who episode 1 is rumored to be centered on? Kendrick. And guess who's doing narration? Ice Cube. So this ain't random. This ain't no accident. This might just be a full-blown cultural coup. Meanwhile, back at the OVO camp, things were unraveling fast. After the leaked Cousin Jamal Live and the backlash from Cube's Oakland podcast, quote, fans started pressuring Drake to speak up. But instead of dropping a track or even a real statement, Drake posted a clip of himself boxing in the gym with a caption, "Train in silence. Execute in shadows." Some fans ate it up, saying the Sixth God was about to strike back with a surprise album. Others called cap saying he was ducking real smoke behind cryptic captions. But what nobody knew at the time is that Kendrick already saw the move cumin and was waiting with a trap. Let's rewind a sec, right after the Malibu dinner. Kendrick had been working on a mysterious side project. No album rollout. No label push. Just quiet studio sessions. Now, word leaked that Kendrick had laid down not 1, but 3 new verses, all unreleased, all aimed not directly at Drake's name, but at what he represents: commercial rap, culture cosigns, and numbers over message. One of the engineers who worked on the session said this: he didn't sound angry. He sounded focused, like he'd already won and was just writing the post-game interview. That's a bar right there, and the craziest part. Those verses were recorded over beats produced by none other than Dre himself. So now you got Cube crowning Kendrick in public, Dre producing underground response joints, and Kendrick playing the quiet storm in the background. Meanwhile, Drake looking more and more isolated. But then, just when fans thought he was down for the count, Drake pulled out his wild card, a surprise Instagram Live. No warning, no announcement. He just popped up late night, sipping something light, face serious, comments going wild. For 10 straight minutes, Drake talked directly to the culture. He didn't name Kendrick. He didn't name Cube. But he ain't have to. Here's what he said. But he ain't have to. Here's what he said. I came in this game showing love. I embrace the OGs. I embrace the new ones. But every time I take a vacation, somebody trying to steal the throne like I left it unlocked. I don't need no cosigns. I am the cosign brew. That line sent social media into meltdown. Fans were split. Kendrick's supporters said Drake sounded defensive, like the crown had already slipped. OVO diehards said Drake reminded everybody why he's the face of the last decade. And in the middle of it all, silence from Cube. Silence from Kendrick. But guess who did respond? E-40. He posted a video the next day saying, a real king don't gotta say he the king. The people say it for him, and then that West Coast wave really started to form. NIPSEY hustles. Old homie BH dropped a post saying, the West talking back what's ours, not with beef, with truth. Then Ty $IGN reposted Cube's original comment and added a crown emoji. Even Schoolboy Q, who's been quiet all year, posted a throwback photo with Cube and Kendrick with the caption, you know what side I'm on. So now the question wasn't just Drake versus Kendrick. It was becoming the coast versus the culture machine and the industry. Shook were talking label execs trying to do emergency damage control. OVO pushing PR teams to shift narratives. Even Spotify made a weird move. They updated Kendrick's artist bio the next morning with a paragraph highlighting his cultural impact beyond streams. Fans said that was intentional. Like the platforms were picking sides now too. But just when you thought the story couldn't go deeper. About to blow the roof off because we got exclusive info about an unreleased track. A song Cube, Kendrick, and one other legend secretly recorded together. One that's been hidden for months, but could drop at any moment. And it's allegedly the final shot in this cultural war. So remember we told y'all there was a secret track recorded by Ice Cube, Kendrick, and a mystery West Coast legend. Well, buckle up, because that legend, it's none other than Snoop Dogg. Yup, Snoop, Cube, Kendrick. 3 generations of West Coast kings. Linking up for a track that insiders are already calling a cultural nuke. This ain't no commercial record. No playlist bait. This is an anthem. Straight boom bap, raw drums, aggressive bars, and real messages. And guess what? The track's title. Heir to the crown, and word is the bars go straight at the commercialization of hip-hop manufactured beefs. And artists who build their kingdom off algorithm. Applause. Sheesh. But here's the part that's got the whole industry biting their nails. Drake's name? Never mentioned once. But everybody knows who it's aimed at. The subliminals are surgical. We got a leaked snippet of Cube's verse. Listen to this. They streaming lies while we bleed in truth. Made it from the corner store. Not no photo booth. I seen the throne rot. Get sold to the youth. But kings don't rent power. We build from the roots. Now tell me that ain't a shot at the digital dominance era. Tell me that ain't Cube reclamon what he sees as real hip-hop. And Kendrick, oh man, his verse reportedly starts with, you ever seen a crown that don't fit the head? They buy in charts, we build in legacy instead. And Snoop, he don't even rap on the track, he talks. Yeah, Uncle Snoop delivers a spoken word outro, preaching about loyalty, legacy, and calling out artists who got 10 ghostwriters but no soul. And the wildest part? That track has been done since June. It's just been sitting in the vault waiting for the right moment, and now, that moment might be right now. A source from Top Dog said the track could drop as early as next week, right in the middle of Drake's rumored album rollout. Now, imagine that. Imagine thinking you've out to dominate fourth quarter, and a surprise track from three of the West Coast's deadliest voices drops the same week. That's chess, not checkers. But here's where things take the nastiest twist yet. Remember the OVO insider we mentioned back in part 1? The one who leaked the bitter voice memo after Cube's speech? They just flipped. Turns out, this person, let's call him Jason, is a mid-level exec at OVO's brand team. And after all the chaos, he reportedly got pushed out. We talkin' emails blocked, keycard access shut off, unfollowed by Drake himself. The reason? Apparently he was blamed for how messy the response to Cube got. They said he made the label look weak. So what does Jason do? Oh, just the pettiest, most scandalous move imaginable. He reaches out to a small podcast out of Atlanta and offers them a full tell-all interview off the books. No filter, and in that interview, Jason spills everything. He says the label did try to pay blogs to spin the Cube narrative. He says Drake was working on a diss response, but scrapped it after hearing Cube's bars on air to the Crown. And the most shocking part? Jason claims that Drake tried to squash the Cube moment by offering him a secret honorary feature on an unreleased OVO project, basically offering Cube a legacy feature as a peace deal. But behind closed doors, allegedly, Cube laughed and said, "I'm too old to be bought and too solid to be silenced, brr." That quote went viral in minutes. Every major hip-hop outlet picked it up. Fans started saying Cube just pulled the realest power move since Tupac set him up. Memes exploded. GIFs everywhere. And then Kendrick posted one single word on Twitter soon. Nothing else, fans lost it. Is he announcing the track drop? A new album? A short film? No one knows. But the entire culture is sitting on the edge of their seat waiting. And Drake, he finally broke his silence. Again, this time in an interview with a European outlet while on a promo run. When asked about Cube's comments, Kendrick's silence, and the rumored diss track, Drake looked straight into the camera and said, "I got love for all those guys. But if you need a circle of legends to validate your throne, maybe you never had one." Cold, calculated, pure chess move. But fans noticed something in his tone. It wasn't confidence. It was defense. That smile didn't reach his eyes. It felt like a man trying to hold position, not someone owning it. And the internet called it out. Quick. A viral tweet said, "Drake sounds like a king. Worried the people just found out who really runs the kingdom. So now we got a standoff. Kendrick, Cube, Snoop, and the West Coast ready to drop a cultural nuke. Drake scrambling to defend a legacy that's still dominant on charts but fragile in public perception. And the fans split right down the middle. Some say Drake will always be the people's champ, the chart killer, the hitmaker. Others say Kendrick just reawakened the soul of hip-hop and Cube lit the torch that's about to burn the whole system down. Either way, history's being written in real time. And the question remains, is the crown something you win or something you inherit? ChatGPT said, "All right, fam, that's the full rundown on this wild saga Ice Cube crowning Kendrick the culture king over Drake. The secret meetings, the leaks, the shade, and the underground tracks ready to drop like bombs. The industry is shook. The fans are divided. And no one really knows what's next." Now here's where you come in. What do you think? Is Kendrick the true culture king, carrying the torch for real hip-hop? Or is Drake still running the game with his unmatched hits and global reach? Did Ice Cube make the right call? Or is this just a calculated stunt to shake up the scene? And what about Snoop's role in all this? The OG voice dropping truth bombs. Drop your hottest takes in the comments below. We want to hear every side, every theory, every wild prediction. Smash that like button if you're here for all the tea and drama. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the latest heat from the culture wars. Hit the notification bell too, because trust me, this story is far from over, and when that secret track drops, you want to be the first to know. Until next time, Keep your ears open, your eyes peeled, and stay tuned to the realist. Royest updates right here. Peace. Royest updates right here. Peace.